Yeah, when that robin gets going, don't bother touching the knobs. Unplug it, man. Don't turn it off. Those knobs are even, they're even hotter than the radio.
Hey, you cooked toast on it.
I don't see how you can, Dennis, I'm serious, man. I don't see how it doesn't melt the front of the meter and everything.
Radio.
And there you go.
All right, if I can keep the radio keyed, we'll give it a shot here.
Go or no go for liftoff.
T-minus 0 seconds and counting.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Hello, radio, the Old Tube Radio Network. Somewhere between here and there on your radio, wherever it may be, whether it's in Central California like we are here, or you are somewhere trying to get the DX. Perhaps you're listening at oldtuberadio.net, or the video is playing at a theater near you, whether it's live and direct. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio is glowing in the dark thanks to our Old Tube Radio collectors and operators who take time out of their Saturday evenings to share the radios with us and create the sound that many of us remember from the 1960s and 70s. And if you weren't around then, stay tuned, because we will try to get you the feel of the tube radios and the operators that use them. Coming up, we will be talking to our shortwave listeners. Many of you are out there listening, doing a similar thing throughout the week, talking on your radios. My name is Dennis, net control for this network that has been going since the mid-1980s on Saturday evenings here in Central Valley to bring all that together. So I'm just one of the many net controllers. So thanks for joining us. In the meantime, while we're waiting for the tube radios, let's check in with our shortwave listeners. And our first 00 would be Neil, SWL 147, and I will keep an eye out for him. We will be, the Echo link is up. We'll be checking the chat windows over at the .net and the video side, and of course, we'll be taking any and all questions and items of interest and looking for those radios tonight. 00 is, we'll give 00 a proxy check, and I think Neil will be coming by. We will also check in SWL number 1, one of the gentlemen who got this started ever so long ago, and also say hello to Mr. OBP, who I'm not sure if Kevin is out on the video side tonight. He will probably be there shortly. Let me turn down the headphoniums here so I won't get feedback. I will get a proxy check-in for SWL3, Mr. Rob, and then I will say, let's see, let's go over to SWL number 5 for Levon. That's Rainmaker. I thought he was out. He might still be over at Old Radio Night. I think JT is up and running. And it was nice to see, to hear Old Radio Night out there tonight. He's got, JT's, I'll have to talk to him. He's got some very nice equipment ready to go to make his YouTube podcast a stellar event. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with all of that. Let's go to SWL7.
SWL7, checking in.
And sounding good, I can tell from the key up that we may have a radio in our future. So keep it warmed up, and we'll be back to you.
Break channel.
And your break channel, go ahead, over.
Evening, Dennis, and everybody else. 650, Pinedale Control.
All right, Pinedale Control, you are sounding good. Let me get you checked in. You were sounding good last night, I think, on the You were out there for the Friday Night Net, so thanks for joining us here tonight.
Yeah, I was out there doing running at that time.
Somebody has to do it. All right, we've got you checked in.
Thank you, sir. Everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you next Friday.
All right, and we will do that. The other breaker, go ahead, over.
Good evening from the one element. It's good to know that it's been raining cats and dogs. Good evening to the valley, and check it in, check it out. One element. Back out.
The one element is dry at the moment. I don't think we're getting rain here in Midtown, but it is scheduled to return. The ponding basins are full. There are waterfowl, ducks and geese and egrets, and you just don't know what's out there, but they're enjoying the water, and hopefully we will not get too much of it to make it unenjoyable, but we'll take it while we've got it. Thanks for stopping by. Any other stations need an early check-in? Over. Let me say hello to Neil, who is in. Thank you, 00. I've got the X in the square, and if I didn't make it official up on the screen there, I will do that right now. Let's go up to, speaking of people who are in, Chrissy and Dwayne are in at the top of the hour here. Hello, Chrissy. Lots of, I don't know if you guys are getting snow or not up there. We are just getting rain here at this elevation at about 300 feet. I don't think we'll be getting snow, but you just never know. So thanks for joining us tonight. We will certainly look for some conditions. We didn't have any last night on the Friday Night Net, and as you can tell, it has been very quiet going into the net. No Hawaii, Australia, but that doesn't mean that we can't get some conditions happening. The Old Tube Radio Network. Let's see if SWL 11, Mr. Cornbread, is out there. How about, well, we'll hold on for Cornbread and Dapper Dan over to SWL 13. And my noise level is very quiet tonight. We'll see what happens at the 9 o'clock hour, but the generic noise level is very low. I think the rain has washed out all the garbage. Maybe there's some power out somewhere. I don't know. Looking for SWL 13. Mike, who joins us usually at oldtuberadio.net. I will keep an eye out for the comments there because you can check in over there. Let's try SWL 14.
SWL 14 checking in, and hopefully you're high and dry over there, Dennis.
Yeah, it's been good. This is a very sandy location, sandy soil, so the water soaks in immediately. There are no standing puddles of water, and I don't think the ponding basins locally have overflowed into the streets yet, so all is doing good. And you are sounding good. We've got you checked in.
Thank you much.
Oops. I have got to get a better king situation here. Let me make sure that's on. All right. Neil and Sanger, and we are on. Yeah, I see the transmitter. Let's go to SWL 16. And Charlie is in, out from Anoka, Minnesota, and places beyond, saying that we look good. Yeah, okay. The lights are on. We're ready to go, and he is looking forward to the radios checking in, as am I. How about SWL 17? Shortwave listener 18. Mikey was on Facebook, said to check him in, and I will do that. I need more space on the desk here. At the cue cards tonight, SWL 19, Chet from Derby, New York, somewhere. Phoning in. Hey, can you phone in? No, you got to be here to do those things. Looking good, sounding good. All is well. Thanks for joining us from way over there to way over here. Over to SWL 20.
Number 20 here. Please check me in. Also 2954. And also, number 135, who is not going to take a chance on going outside with his nice radio and then having it rain. So please check all of us in, and I'll be in and out of the radio room tonight. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, I'm glad you were in there now. I wasn't sure if you were going to be here or there or elsewhere. But your radio's sounding good. We've got some good conditions in tonight. So we will be waiting and listening for your items of interest. So sounding good. We got you checked in. I will get those proxy check-ins as well. Then, let's see, we go over to SWL21, Mr. JT, who is going uptown with all the great equipment. I think he said that his son sent that in, but it's some really good quality stuff. So we're expecting Mr. JT to be sounding good. Now, I don't know. I am going over to the page, and I think I see. Good. Now, I don't know. I am going over to the page. Is this actually? Am I on? No, I think I'm on my own YouTube channel. I'm not sure. I don't know. I am going over to. We don't want that. That's confusing. I was trying to see if I could get some pictures of his item earlier on Old Radio Night, but for somehow it's defaulted over to. Here we go. The unboxing. Let me put those on for those watching the video. And he's doing the unboxing of, he got a interface, microphones, headphones, lots of very good equipment. So we'll be
some for lighting, some for mics.
He doesn't even know what he has.
XLR cable.
It's sort of like Christmas in January over there. All right. Well, anyway, JT, I think you have everything you need to do the top of the line podcast. Whoever sent that to you did not leave out anything, so it is good. The Old Radio Night before this net, and a lot of you are joining us from that end. So thanks. If I didn't mention it. 21 is checked in. Let's go to SWL 22. Tyler is up in, I'm looking if he's on the Echolink. I don't see him tonight, but he's up in near Anchorage, Alaska. Been hearing Alaska on 40 meters in the evening when the band is going very, very long. So, in fact, we talked to someone just outside Anchorage a couple of nights ago. So maybe we'll catch Tyler up there. Over to SWL 23. Get my list back here. SWL 24. SWL 25. I'm going to get Jerry checked in. He may be performing tonight. Let's go over to SWL 27. And I like that low noise level. Look at that, S2. And that's with a little bit of RF gain put in just to get rid of the noise level that whatever is there. Let's go up to Sacramento. Hope you guys are drying out, which is a good thing. I saw the pictures of the mayhem and madness from the current weather storm. Hello, Gary. 28's checking in. He says that the rain will not put a damper on OTR, and we do have some leaks in the roof of the green rooms to bring in some buckets. I noticed that. I was up there with the little caulking gun earlier, just trying to see. You know, it's really hard to find a leak, because when you have a leak that's here, when you go up on the roof, the leak is way over there because water tends to run down things. So we are tracking those down with the help of our expert team. And Gary, you are right. The inclement weather will definitely not put a damper on what is going on here at the Old Tube Radio Network. We got you checked in. Also have a check-in for SWL 29 and likewise SWL 30. Dwayne, who is manning the Browning, the Robin. Any radio up there waiting for the conditions to open up? Let's go to SWL 31.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR. Go ahead, over.
24, checking in. Sorry, I was watching the game.
Oh, not a problem. I think a lot of people are doing that, so hopefully it is a good game and is it worth watching? We've got you checked in. I don't know how many games were on today, but I know there were quite a few, so hopefully they are doing what you need to do. Over to SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control, Lethanka the Proboscis. Yeah, that's working. And somebody said, Fonkman, check the DX maps. I do believe I have them up and running this time. For some reason, they were not working last week, but I managed to figure them out. So if I can bring them up full scale, let's go over to the DX map. They look pretty sorry right now if you're looking for DX. There it is. However, the reports are on the West Coast where we are. There's Northern California, Oregon, Washington, 27, 37, 28. That's the megahertz. That means 11 meters is up and active in those parts. I'm not sure. Let's see if it'll show where they're going. So it's short stuff. It's short hops, it appears. So very possible that we might have some communications from the stations in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. We will keep an eye out for that here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go over to SWL 34. SWL 35. I think Mr. Bill is up, and yeah, he's checking in from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Hello, Bill. If you're watching, hope all is well. Hope things are happening for Red Monkey Communications. The happiness trailer there, bringing nice CB toys, nice radio stuff to all the good and semi-good boys and girls. They should be able to find something there. Over to SWL 36. SWL 37.
SWL 37. Good evening, Dennis.
All right, hello, radio. What is it? Is it game night? Is it football game night or movie night over there?
We're packing a bunch of stuff up. Just like my phone's ringing.
All right, well, this is the phone ringing frequency. So anyway, you're sounding good. And make sure you pack it, the fragile stuff. Do not put the, what do they say? Do not put the watermelon on top of the potato chips. In Bozo Control's bagging days at the local grocery, that was the one thing he used to forget about. Let's go to SWL 38.
Break OTR.
And I saw Sam in earlier, so I would get Sammy checked in out of Byron. The break OTR, hello radio, go ahead.
Hello, Dennis. Did you call for early check-ins already?
We tried, but there's always room for an early check-in. I will get you. How are you guys faring up there for the water, for the rain?
Right here by QTH, we're doing okay. It's been raining all day, but nothing too terrible.
Okay, because I know some of the areas up there, and I don't think you're in one of them, with the lack of the trees. Sometimes you have a little bit of mud depending on what side of the hill you might be on, or some standing water, but it sounds like all is working.
Yeah, there's one of the members in the early risers. He lives in Mariposa. He's been out of power for like 2 or 3 days, and his road has been washed out, so he's kind of stuck.
Yeah, there were a couple of places up there near Shaver where the road going up and the back road were both out of service. So you got to be careful. If they can get the road cleared, they'll let residents in and out. But Mariposa on the other side, same thing. So yeah, we're having that that go on. So hopefully everybody has got enough supplies to hang out in a couple of days. But what's the word we used to say? Bummer if you don't have power to go along with that. You are sounding good, and we have you checked in. Over.
Hey, Dennis, did you get my email?
Yes, I did. And I looked at those questions, and I flunked both of those. But as usual, I ended up learning something.
Okay, very good. You know, if you ever want to comment or something and give me some feedback, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, I will do that. I'll look at them or add some links or things like that, because a lot of times, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I knew that, but a lot of times they're slightly, where if you've studied in a certain area or you have the unit or something like that, and some of it's history too. And that's what I like. I like the historical items as well. All right, thanks for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network, and stay dry.
All right, thank you, Dennis, and have a good show. 145 and we're clear.
All right, 145. Let me get you officially on the top of the list here, checked in, doing good. We are the Old Tube Radio Network. We're in the directed net roll call portion. And I wanted to say a big hello to Jimmy, who is out there saying hello radio tonight. On the men, looking good. Things are happening, so I'm glad you can join us tonight. The less than stellar train whistle for you and Captain Chaos. Thanks for joining us. Heading over for, let's try SWL. Boy, I hope Dan is there. I'll be able to hear him tonight. SWL 39. I can hear him if I get the rig down key. SWL 40.
Franco TR.
The break OTR, go ahead, over.
Yeah, I got a relay for 39. He was trying to get to you.
Oh, man, okay, thanks, because I've got such a low noise level. 39, Dan, try it again. Let me listen, over. All right, I hope I'm not doubling with him. That's my fault. I should be able to hear him, so there's probably something wrong on my end. But thanks for the relay. I will get the X in the square. Yeah, the stars are not aligning tonight. All right, thanks. We've got him checked in. Did I call? If I didn't, I will do it again. SWL 41. SWL 42.
Yeah, it's Proxy 42 in the gang.
We'll do SWL 43. Got a proxy in for 43, it says, so I will do that. I wonder if Ray is listening. SWL 44. Well, he was sounding big last night on the Ditch Banks net. I will get Ray checked in. Over to SWL 45. All right, well, hopefully we're not part of the weird noises. You sound good tonight, Paul. Hope you and Kelly are faring the inclement weather in fine style. All right, thanks for joining us. SWL 46. Shortwave Lister 47.
Good evening to all from the Radio Lounge. Where else? This is SWL 47.
And sounding good. Thanks for checking in. SWL 48. Get Sammy checked in. He was on Ditch Banks last night, I believe. SWL 49.
Hello, Dennis. The old 49er Smitty here, getting down on the old Robin T123B. We're waving a hand for Sweet Country Mom, and we're wishing all you fellas a super fine evening. Thank you for the check-in.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Sweet Country Mama, Smitty at the microphonium. You are doing a good job, and we've got you checked in.
Thank you, thank you.
Also joining us from Reedley, SWL 111. Boy, you know, Robert, I would hear you tonight, I think. Unless my antenna's down. Maybe my noise levels, because my antenna is sitting on the ground. We've got you checked in. See you on the chat window. Thanks for joining us, 111 out of Reedley. Let's try SWL 50.
50 here, checking it.
All right, heard you last night. I thought you're going to be out there tonight, and indeed, there you is. Thanks for stopping by. SWL 51, Mr. 305.
305, checking in.
All right, 305 from somewhere around Sangertown. Looking good, thanks. SWL 52. You know, 52, I should have recorded. He checked in on the crossband earlier. He is attending a birthday bash. Said he might not be back in time, but Aaron was live and direct, X in the square. Let's go to Mr. Belair, SWL 53.
Yeah, good evening there, Dennis. Belair the Legend checking in, and I want to say howdy to Jay Bird. He's on the Bluetooth. 73s, have a good weekend, and I'm back quiet.
All right, I bet he heard you because you are super loud here tonight. We've got you checked in.
Thank you very much.
Let me say hello to, before we go to page 3, our station's listening in the balcony, Dallas, Georgia tonight. I've got a little story about Dallas, Georgia. I'll have to get my logbook out at the appropriate time. Hello to Boston, just walking in the door up there. New Hampshire, is that Dover? Dover, New Hampshire, or how do they say it? New Hampshire. In the 03820 postal code, where it is 11:28 and 33 degrees. A little bit chilly out there, but thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Nelson is in. What's going on where the sun is about to come up tonight? It's wanting to sell me things. Anyway, you are about to join us. I was going to do the weather report, but it won't let me do that. Hello to Florence, Kentucky, Inez, Kentucky. Van Man is out there, no doubt. The unknown SWL. If you see someone with a bag over their head and a rubber ducky, that's the unknown SWL. Minneapolis, Minnesota, thanks for listening in. Was getting some good skip from Minnesota, even on 40 meters at night. Clear and 31 degrees. Thanks for joining us. Newark, New Jersey, Hermosa Beach, Bowling Green, Fresno, and a host of others on your Old Tube Radio Network. Page 3, we've got to check in for SWL 54. Mr. Board Jammer, let's try SWL 55. SWL 56.
Just for kicks.
Just for kicks. You know, we've been kicked around so much that it doesn't bother us anymore. And it's just the way it is. Sounding good. Thanks for checking in. Over to SWL 57. Mr. Brown Dog Audio, who usually comes in on the chat. I will keep an eye out for Mr. BDA. Yeah, Van Man, I agree. Christmas in January over to ORN, all sorts of good stuff, and it's good. It's good, high quality stuff. He's gonna enjoy that and sound good. SWL 58, Jeremy. I even talked to Tennessee. I was hearing myself on a Tennessee SDR late night 40 meter stuff. So maybe if we can convince Jeremy to get up early, we'll get him checked in. Uncle Hairball, SWL 59. From his appearance over at Old Radio Night, and I don't know, are the studios together? I never get a chance because I'm prepping for this. Do you just kind of have to walk around and through the stairs when you're on ORN? and then you come into the old Tube Radio Network. I hope that's how it works. I hope you don't have to take a bus. Although, if you need to take the limousine, we've got a couple here. The big red limo, the big white limo. They will get you here when you're done with Old Radio Night. 59, you are checked in. Let's go to SWL 60.
Thank you much, here, Dennis. Doggone it, this evening we'd like to check in our 291 base, Big Jake's base there, the 2527. 60, checking in.
It's doing a good job, as it always does. It knows to behave and do a good job on Old Tube Radio Nights, and it is doing so again. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah, good evening there, Joe.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Bob.
Stand over.
And over to shortwave listener 61. He's got his antenna in a bind or something like it, so I will get him checked in. He might pop in when he gets to the radio desk that has the working antenna. But we got Copenhagen checked in. Over to SWL 62. Gary says the red limo is out of gas. How do you know that? Did you get, did you have to go out and push it? Did you volunteer to get it back? I saw it out there. So if it was out of gas, I appreciate that, getting it back. But you know the crew there is pretty good. So if it was out of gas, it's because there were some nefarious acts. Maybe somebody can buy and siphon the tank, because our crew is top notch, and I'll guarantee they would never let the limos be out of gas. Let's go to SWL 63. SWL 64. And let's see, they're saying that the exhaust on the white limo is throwing sparks. That's actually a feature, not a failure. They've got some type of a lowrider thing, especially for here in Fresno, where they can dip the back end and put out a few sparks if they want. We aim to please here. So yeah, it's all done above board, OSHA approved, but we can do those kind of special effects. Let's go to SW. Oh, there's Craig. Craig checking in. SWL 64, and looking good. And Travis, thanks for your service in fixing the exhaust pipes if we need it. I think the Riviera, the Buick, may need some. That Riviera uses 2 resonators and 2 mufflers. It takes 4 to get the thing going. I don't even know if any car does that anymore. Back in the day. Let's go to SWL 65. SWL 66. Shortwave listener 67. I will get Bill and Camby checked in. I think he's still having internet issues. Let's go out to New York 157. I think he said to get an early check-in. I will do that. 68 got you early checked in there, Michael. SWL 69. Kenny was in early as well from Tulsa when we started the video here. He's doing well. Got him checked in. SWL 70. I get Mark checked in. He's at the new place in Morgan. He's mobile, or he's up there in, I don't know, just up in the foothills, and I hope his new place is faring well through all the rain. Let me see who else is. I want to see who's on the video before we proceed here. I haven't said hello to you. Boy, a lot of people joining us out there tonight. Let me do a quick scroll. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, Neutral Observation. I believe, are you out at the coast? It's probably raining a lot out there, like it is here. So thanks for joining us. And Travis is joining us tonight. Travis C. He's got Luther and Lucretia, and the Komodo Dragons are put to bed, so he's ready to listen to the radio with some pizza and a beverage in hand. That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it. We'll be coming up to Tony soon on the Echo Link. Hello to Mark S. He's breaking the net, and it's looking good. John, we're coming up to you. Who else is joining us? AK0C is checking in. Hello, Larry. Good to have you aboard. And I am using the J38 key, but there is something going on with the contacts that it's not on the where the contacts, it's not making good connection. So I'm going to have to go in there and maybe clean it a little bit, or what is it? Is it brass? Use a little bit of Brasso on that thing. Oh, who else? There's Mike. He's in there. I knew he was in there. Got him checked in. Foxman 362, of course. UDX 483, Mud Bucket from Somerville, South Carolina, where it's currently 38.7. Now that's accuracy. 38.7 degrees. Humidity is 68, and the winds are at 1.1. That's not the case here. We definitely have some winds blowing in. Whatever is going to be happening today, tomorrow, and Monday. The Old Tube Radio Network. We are, hello, Man Cave Studios out of North Carolina. Thanks for joining us. Road Dog 507. All right, I think I missed you before, but we will get you now. SWL 41. I gotta go back to page 2. Put the X in the square. And, of course, the Hudson Valley CB Radio Club is doing well tonight. Let's see, who else is that? UDX 294 out of Tennessee. Thanks for tuning us in tonight. Eric D, as always. Noting at a train whistle, yeah, that is true. Train whistle actually has meanings. It was a way for the engineer to communicate to the conductor in the caboose, and that Q signal, the da, da, dit, da, which is CWQ, also had some form of, I'm going across your intersection or something like that. But yes, indeed. There was also a telegraphic CW. It wasn't Morse code, but there was a different sort of Morse code or different CW code that the trains used, I believe, as well. So a lot of great history in all of that. All right, back to the roll call we go. SWL 71. And let me scroll on the other page here, where I did see Dallas, Georgia in. And let's see, that's 1 week ago. Why do I not see... Let me refresh the comments. I don't see Stan in there. Maybe he can't comment. But anyway, let me... If you're listening, Stan... Yeah, there he is. He said he sees me on Google APRS. Okay. Since he has his D-Star radio on K4SHW. Well, I'll just scroll... that's right, I am beaconing. We'll have to scroll over there. And speaking of beaconing... I was on 40 Miatros, and let's see, let me find, don't tell me I didn't log it. How can I not log that? Oh wait, there's another page. My log goes on and on. Okay, here we go. I was testing, that's what I was doing. I was testing into an SDR. This is late at night. Probably about 10 o'clock here, and he gave me a call. He could hear me direct. So it was KJ4 IC. I can't even read my writing. KJ4 KK Kilo Bravo was Edwin in Dallas, and I said, I've been trying forever to talk to Dallas, Georgia, and I didn't think I could do it on 40 meters. He said, it was good. And then he says, and I mentioned our famous Stan, SWL 71, says, I think I know that guy. I think he's like the contest coordinator. He said, yeah, that's the guy. So Stan, I can do it. On the little antenna here, the little antenna that could. But anyway, we had some great conditions a couple nights ago. And I talked to, was that Eric out of Dallas? So if he says, I talked to this goofy guy, that's who it was. That's who it was out there. So it does happen. And we got you checked in. But 40 has been doing strange things here lately. Directed net roll call. Radios are coming up in a moment. SWL 72. SWL 73. Shortwave listener 74. SWL 75. SWL 77.
Yeah, good evening, Dennis. 77 on the old Cam 88, checking in, and 73s to all the listeners.
All right, good deal. Let me check the box that gets you officially checked in all over, and radio sounding good. Thanks for stopping by. SWL 78. Richard in Wild Wildemar, are you out there? Who's on Echolink? Okay, we got that coming up. SWL 79, I did see Mr. DC saying that internet or something's still down, radio's still down. We'll get Philip checked in. SWL 80. Yeah, John is saying, I think that's the Cobra Cam 88. It's sounding good. It is. We will be hearing from that Cobra Cam 88, as well as some other radios coming up when we start glowing in the dark. Speaking of glowing in the dark, let me go. I think it is time. Yes, it is. It is time to go to page 4. But before we do, we always like to check in with Bob and Steve, see what's happening.
27.0850 TR channel 11.
And in fact, it's the only way I know what is happening around here, since I'm often running around doing stuff, getting an update. But it's always a good thing. And tonight, on episode 150 of the Bob and Steve show, I know. Can you believe 150? That's 149 more than anybody should have to put up with. Monday is Martin Luther King Day. It is. I've got all sorts of things set up at the radio station for that. No banks open, no stock market, no post office. How nice is this? Well, it's nice for those people that don't have to work. Too much rain. The 101 and the PCH is back open. Yeah, the Pacific Coast Highway here on the coast. What a great scenic highway it is, but it's down at the bottom of these giant cliffs and hills, and it often has problems when there's a lot of rain, especially in the south central and central parts. So they know. And we haven't had the ridge going up to Bakersfield do anything bad lately, so I hope that's right. Too many landslides, but they are working on it and take care of it. We've had some mudslides up here near the transmitter up at Shaver Lake, so yeah, I got to be careful with the rain, but they're keeping a handle on it. The Monday night poker games are back in play. Many have already signed up. More fun is on the way. I think you can sign up over by the on the bulletin board by the elevator. I may not sign up on this, but I just do so bad. I'm going to actually watch over somebody's shoulder. Maybe I can learn something. Let's see. DX Engineering says they just keep selling more of those radios. That's the 9000. So they're sending these matching speaker. I think that is also, I don't know, that could be a separate speaker. I'm not sure if the 9000 matching speaker also works with the 2000 or the 5000, but they are beautiful radios. Well, I'm glad we can help out, so maybe we will get some more little perks from DX Engineering. So yeah, keep the radio on the display table. I noticed it has been covered up at night to keep the dust off, but it's open for viewing during the day. At the bar tonight from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Where is Ken? SWL 69, just for you. From Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Bird and Bottle Restaurant. I'll have to see if Kenny's been there. He might be there right now. The Bird and Bottle Restaurant is all set up in the lounge. We've got fried chicken sandwiches with fried Brussels sprouts, mashed potatoes, and gravy. You can join us after the net. I think they're serving right now. You might be able to join us during the net. Anyway, as you know, don't forget to feed the fish and maybe the kitty.
27.0850 TR channel 11.
All right, page 4 is where we are at, looking for SWL 81, SWL 82, And Ron said he might be at the races or watching races or doing something with races. I will quickly say that if you are around on Friday evenings here in the Central Valley, you should be tuning to 36 lower sideband, 27 365, and listening in or joining in the Ditch Banks sideband net. If you are not in the Central Valley, tune in anyway, because Ron has a great station, both transmit and receive, and if we have conditions, he just might hear you. SWL 83, Shortwave listener 84, and I have a note to get Jerry and the ladies checked in, so that's SWL 84, 86, 87, and 88. Cheerios Kid, the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl. I will do that. Over to SWL 89. SWL 90. Got to check in for 90. SWL 91. And Felix is there. I'm behind on my computer is dragging through here, so let me get Felix checked in. There it is. And what is going on? It says he's saying hello to all the SWLs and old tube radio operators. Yeah, those tube radio operators are standing by. But they will have to stand by not too long because we're coming up on the tube radios. I want to say hello to SWL 78, Richard, who I think, yeah, he's out in the windy, wet, and wild, rain-soaked, even more wild than before, Wildemar. Might make for some good conditions because some good ground wave. Anyway, thanks for joining us. SWL 92. SWL 93. Well, they're in southern New Jersey. What's going on in southern New Jersey? SWL 95. Warthog 95. Was he not? Were they not on Old Radio Night? Give him a check in. Over to SWL 96.
Yeah, 96, Dennis. We're checking in.
Boy, good copy tonight. Nice, clear signal. Thanks for stopping by.
That's okay, Dennis. You're doing a good job.
Okay, what type of antenna do you have out there? Over.
Al, I'm talking on a Yagi beam that I built myself.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's a great antenna, and it's even better that you built it yourself. The Yagi beam, directors, reflectors, and driven elements all pointed in this direction, sounding good.
Thank you.
That's part of the fun of any radio, whether it's, citizen band, amateur radio. You can build your antennas out of a piece of wire. You can get the metal elements and do the math. It's all math. There's no tricks. 2 + 2 = 4. And you make it equal 4, put it up, do a little trimming and checking of things, and you will have an antenna. So, good stuff. Math is a good thing. SWL 97. I think I saw Jim in there, Boston, checking in. Listening on, wow, he's listening on the Lafayette HB200, the early Lafayette radios, and we used to get a lot of them. We don't get many of them now. They had a lot. It seemed like every 6 months they had a different version of an HB or an HE or an HA. Some of them were made by DeWalt. I don't know who made all of them, but Lafayette, get one of their older 1960s catalog and look at all the great radios they had. All right. Thanks for listening in. Let's go to SWL 98. I could have sworn I tried. Is someone trying to check in there? Maybe I'm hearing things. All right. Well, I know Tracy's in a position that I can hear him on sideband, but AM is kind of hard to do. SWL 99 Radio Randy, who is working on his Voodoo audio station. Newest piece of equipment is a unit called, let's see, by Frank Foti, and it was the extended version of the Aphex Dominator, and they don't make them anymore, but he's been testing that on 40 meters, and it's sounding pretty good. Still got a little work to go on that. The Vigilante, I think is what they call it. Not many of those around, so very rare piece of gear. Let's try. Let me get the Echo Link fired up, and I believe Tony is joining us tonight. We'll see if he's up on the Echo Link, KB6GFD. Let me get the Echo Link fired up, and I believe Tony is joining us tonight. We'll see if he's up on the Echo Link, KB6GFD.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. You're sounding good tonight. KD4BAA. Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. You're sounding.
All right. Sorry about that, Tony. I was wondering why I was hearing the replay, and that's because I'm also connected to the Echo Test. And the Echo Test is like a dog. If you throw the stick, it will bring it back. If you, on the Echo Test, if you say something, it's going to repeat it back to you. So I did hear you. We've got you checked in, and we are preparing for Tubes on the Air. Thanks for joining us, KB6GFD. All right, Echo is gone. Tony from McClellanville, South Carolina. Let's go over to SWL 102. And John is there. Greetings from, where's he at? He's in Arkansas somewhere, yeah. He says, greetings and salutations. 102 checking in, 35 degrees, clear skies. Sitting in the backyard by the fire pit, enjoying a beverage, listening to the best show on the airwave. Well, thanks for that. I actually share that designation with quite a few other nets and programs, but it's nice to be in that category for sure. Let's go to SWL 103. Let's see, up to SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
Sounding good on AM up there in Albury. Shortwave listener 109. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dennis.
Radio's coming up. Don't go away. SWL 110. SWL 111. Robert checked in earlier through the thing. You can see me sort of struggling with this key to make sure that I'm unkeyed and keyed at the proper time. It's good exercise, I guess. SWL 113. SWL 114.
114 checking in.
114. Thank you, Wayne. We've got an X in the square. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the check-in.
Over to SWL 128. A guy that knows a little something about being a shortwave listener, since he was recognized by the Popular Electronics back when they actually did that stuff back in the day. I wish somebody would do something like that again. There are some shortwave listening Facebook sites and other things like that where they're showing some really great fancy radios. A lot of people are still doing that. So it's fun to take that clip lead to the metal window screen, assuming you have one. All the window screens now are that vinyl stuff. They don't work so well. We've got you checked in, John. Let's go over to SWL 131. And there's Tracy. Hello, Tracy. If that was you, I thought I heard you coming through, but I could have been imagining something. But Travis, we will get this place cleaned up. I know sometimes people just get excited about all the great things going on here. But we will make sure that it does good stuff. All right, SWL 98, Tracy, I've got you checked in. Let's go over to SWL 133. Shortwave listener 135. If you're listening, Mr. Green Arrow, we've got you checked in. Also going to check in for SWL 137. An earlier check-in from SWL 145. That's the nice thing about the replay, either on the audio or the video. If you think, did I check in last night? Did he hear him? You can go back, play the audio or the video and say, yeah, okay. That net control, he actually knows what he's doing. Let's go to SWL 147. Neil checked in prior. Things are a bit quiet. Weather is doing what it does, and things are going good in the Sandhills, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Kakalaki. Thanks for joining us. Over to Shortwave listener 188, Bobby.
Good evening, Tom Dennis. Good evening, Tom, to all SWLs, 188 checking in.
Checking in and checked in. Sounding good, thank you. Up the hill we go. Jim and crew, SWL 195.
195 checking in. I'm not too sure about the crew, but I'm definitely checking in.
All right. Well, sometimes it's like me. I become a crew of one. It's like, why? You come back from doing something. You think, why wasn't that done? And you think, oh yeah, that's because it's my job. All right, you are sounding good. We've got the X on the square.
Thank you, sir.
And sounding good. Boy, I love this S2 noise level. Let's go to SWL 226. I've got Shockwave a proxy. I think there was something going on last night up there in Mariposa, so we've got Jeff checked in. Anybody else? Anybody that I missed? OTR is listening. Hey, 39, over. Wait a minute, you had it in the new tube radio position, so I know that other net was checking you in, and I felt kind of bad. Wow, okay. Well, if you've got it pointed towards me, which I think you do, you are making it, you're beaconing out worldwide on the Universal Media Netweb, and you are officially checked in, although Sean did a good job of the what we call on radio at 10.5. All right, oops. I never thought about being out west, and I can tilt a little bit here. Yeah, I can tilt a little bit to bring you in better. All right, you're sounding good. Thanks for jumping back in. All right, back in a moment. We're switching over to the tube radios, and then we will be glowing in the dark, which is what we do best on the old tube radio network. Back in moments with your radios. you might be listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
RADIO, and they're applauding because they know that our tube radio operators are ready and waiting. The tubes are glowing, and we will get some fine quality citizen band radios coming up, thanks to them. If you're just tuning in or whatever, my name is Dennis, Net Control for the Old Tube Radio Network, where the real radios glow in the dark, and we promote the use and distribute information about tube radios when we can. And we bring you the audio and sometimes video flavor, depending on where you're listening or watching, of the radios as well, so you can get an idea of what it was like if you weren't around back in the day, whatever that means, when the radios weren't quite that old. Someone said, do I have a pen? Yes, I have a pen. Thank you for reminding me. Our pocket protector pen tonight, Hoffman Easy Vision Television, Western Radio and Television Supply Company, with places in, oh, look at this, in San Diego. Well, these have always been from weird places that I've never heard of, but San Diego, I have heard of. How did that happen? Let's go to, where's the less than stellar close-up cam? All right, there you go. That's Hoffman Electronics doing its thing, going into the pocket protector tonight. And more importantly is your radios. What else do we need to do? Am I good? They're saying, get to the radios. And that's what we're going to do. OTR is listening. 14, you are sounding good. It is, what is it, like 2 minutes after 9, or almost 9 o'clock here on the West Coast. My noise level is super low. We will see what happens in the infamous 12 after. But right now, you're putting in a good signal, as you always do. Take a transmission.
Thank you, Dennis. I'd like to check in my Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV.
The infamous Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV. Some Browning operators say that's their favorite radio. Some of them say it's not their favorite radio, but as long as it's checking in, it is our favorite radio. I will find sort of our less than stellar picture of the Mark IV to kind of go along with your audio, which is sounding pretty good over.
Yeah, out of the two Brownings, it is my favorite, as it is the only one that's operational at the time.
Oh, let's see, that is right. You said one of them was having an issue. This one certainly isn't. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV, separate transmitter, separate receiver. I'm trying to think from an operational standpoint. There isn't much different. You still have to spot the transmitter to the receiver. Is that spotting the receiver to the transmitter? Now, on the 40, you've got the digital or the LED, I guess, display on the channel selector, right? It's not the rotatable dial with the frequency display, or is that... Which one has the, which unit, transmitter receiver, has the digital display on it?
Yeah, my Mark IV has the digital display, and the on-the-air light is also on the transmitter instead on the receiver, like the Mark III.
All right, and I got a picture here. So obviously the receiver, it's got the big speaker on it. How is the audio on that? Still good Browning quality on the receive?
You know, it's not my favorite one to listen to. It's the speaker or something is not as good a quality as some of the other radios I have.
And, that could be a lot of things. It could be just the way it is. And if you'll, talk to the guys that do the tube rolling, the different tubes, even just a different receive tube, not where you find the best tubes for the audio. Sometimes, just like you do with the stereo or something where the people swap the tubes. Same thing could happen. You might find the one that really brings the audio out. I wanted to put the display, if anyone's watching the video or if you're over at oldtuberadio.net, Browning did spend a lot of money. Here's a color, I don't know, multi-page brochure of the Golden Eagle Mark IV SSBAM, and I'll guarantee you that was not a cheap thing to produce back then, to put some color on that and multiple items. So they were still promoting these radios back in 1977 or 78 when they came out. There were some various, I think there was actually a 23-channel version, and they were a little bit on the expensive side. I think our things are showing at $895. It's not coming up, but anyway, I know they were close to $900. So anyway, it's worth $900 tonight. That's for sure. It's our first radio, and it sounds good. Over.
All right. Well, thank you, Dennis. I appreciate the time tonight, and everybody else.
All right, and we appreciate you stopping by. It's nice to have a nice quiet frequency to say hello radio. Let me go back to the control room here so I can get Mr. Brown Dog audio checked in over on the SWL side, 57. You will be officially official on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Thanks for joining us out there in Central Kentucky, and OTRs are listening for any and all check-ins. While I've got the SWL list up, there's the guy I was talking about earlier that knows a lot of stuff about tube radios. When we started this thing, it was always, let's ask Kevin. And he would always say, well, it's 9 pounds, good modulation, Chestnut and Herndon number 2. I hope you are doing well. We've got an X in the square over, and we are listening for radio number 2. And am I hearing static crashes like lightning? I don't know. Anyway, the jingle singers say, never mind that lightning. They will sing for us until the lightning hits. Here we go.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
We are standing by for Radio 2.
SWL 52 with a recheck.
All right, 14. I've got you, Sean, and let me get, while we're keyed here, let me get 42 for, or 52 for recheck. Go ahead, Aaron, over.
Yeah, good evening, Dennis and everyone else on the net. SWL 52 from behind the golden microphone.
And you are sounding good. I think I heard you on the way back on the crossband, but you are near the golden microphonium once again and sounding good. The check-in is official. Thanks, KB6GFD. And heading over to Sangertown, let's bring the video up. And Sean, take a transmission, over.
Yeah, I'd like to check in my Cobra Cam 88 tonight, and I hear those static balls you're talking about bursting on the radio.
Yeah, in fact, there was one while you were talking. So far, they sound far away. I don't have the URL for the lightning map, or I could bring that up just so we keep track of what's going on. The Cobra Cam 88, I've got a picture of that. We may have another one tonight. Could the Cobras be the number one most heard manufacturer? We will find out. Take a transmission, as this radio sounds very nice. And in fact, they're already commenting on the good audio of this. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. I am talking on the stock microphone, and I'm using the Dynaboost. And I had to check in because I'd never heard that before. The lightning was a static sound like that. So that's something I learned tonight.
Yeah, there's just one or two little crashes. See, now here on the West Coast, typically we don't have the kind of lightning storms like a lot of our listeners do. But when we do, I mean, it's a cause for concern, crashes, and we always like to make sure that they are not close by. My antenna's low enough, but it doesn't make any difference. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Radio looking good. There are two different versions, I think, that have the mod light and a switch below the mod light. Which one do you have? Over.
Yeah, I have the switch below the modulation light, and this is a radio that I really like to listen to. The sound through the speaker is excellent for the ear.
Yeah, Cobra did a good job like they did on the audio of getting some good fidelity, not only on the trans, but on the receive as well. So that's a good thing. Let me see, do I have any other pieces and parts on the Cobra Cam 88? For some reason, the auxiliary pages that tell me things are not coming up. So hopefully the hopefully the database isn't getting ready to crash. And I'm assuming that you do have the range expand or whatever they call it in the on position?
Correct, yeah, I have it on. And the little modulation light is glowing orange sporadically.
Okay, as well it should. It sounds good. Take a transmission. I will go to the 0 beat and see where you are on frequency. I think, if I remember, that radio is pretty close, but I'll find out here. Go ahead, over.
Yeah, I still hear the crashes. So hopefully you hear me just fine, and my radio is close to frequency.
That's right on. Right, it's very close. It can't be off more than by 50 or 60 cycles, because I don't have to move anything around when I check either the upper or the lower sideband. Yes, indeed, we are double sideband AM, not suppressed carrier here. So pick your sideband or pick your carrier insertion. Cobra Cam 88, I think this was their next to last tube radio. I sold quite a few of them. So this was a popular rig. I think this was in the line of like a Johnson Messenger 223, where it was a good rig to start out. It had everything you wanted, 23 channels in the S meter. It had the modulation light and the nice little, when you got the right one, with the range expand, and the price was pretty comparable to all the popular radios of the day. So Cobra, they knew what they were doing.
All right, well, thanks for the time with the OTR tonight, Dennis, and everyone have a great evening.
Indeed. Oh, you know what? Come back one more time. I'm going to put the S meter up, because if you watch the replay, your audio is really good tonight. It's a nice, quiet frequency. You can give yourself a radio check. So back to you for a transmission. Over.
I'm excited to listen to them now that they're 1 and 2. I can compare the audio, and looking forward to that, watching the YouTube video tonight.
All right, and I'll leave that up because you can see I've got the RF gain set to an S3, very quiet. Your S5, so not a big signal, but the audio nice and clear and doing a good job. Radio at number 2, the Cobra Cam 88. It's nice to have the tube radios warming up the cold winter night. Thanks.
Break.
The break. Go ahead. This is the old Tube Radio Network.
My goodness, that Cam 88, that was a sweet sounding radio over here in the one element. I had to admit, his signal wasn't so grand, but my goodness, sweet sounds of a good radio. Don't let that one go.
Well, thank you very much for the compliment.
Hey, and just in time, what time is it? 11, 12 after 9, the offending QRM just turned itself on. Let's see where the meter is at. All right, there it is, S4 to S5. So whatever that is it's right on cue. And yeah, I see they're already using the sign-up sheet. Travis, they're using the sign-up sheet for the limos to get to the Waffle House. So yeah, there may be a big crew. We might have both limos going out there tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark. We're looking for Radio 3, and the Jingle Singers will help us do that.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
Listening for radio number 3.
Number 7.
Okay, number 7. Let me get my mouse in the right spot. Go ahead, sir. You've got Radio 3.
Well, this one is the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB.
All right, I have a good photo for that, assuming that the photo item is working. Yeah, we use Mr. Green Arrow's rig here, and it does have the Browning Golden Eagle, or the Browning, I guess the Golden Eagle microphone. I don't know if it's made by Browning or not, but yeah, that's a question. Does the Golden Eagle, does it have the word Browning on it? The microphone, that is?
Well, the radio, the mic, or what?
Yeah, that was a misinformed question. The microphone.
Oh, well, no, the Golden Eagle microphone is actually a D104. It's just the Golden Eagle, and it doesn't say Browning on it. But at this point, I have the banana mic, which does say Browning on it.
Ah, okay. When it came, I guess there was a microphone that came with the radio. That would be it. Or if it didn't come with one, you had to specify. Or, I don't know. I don't have any brochure that says what the options were, if any, for that radio. It is sounding good, making it okay through the noise. We'll put up the S meter in a little bit, but take a transmission.
There we go, with the two-piece radio that fits almost 3 feet of table, so you need a good large spot to put this radio. Yep, good old stock microphone, no power, was actually made by Electro Voice.
Evie, all right, I was going to say a static, but I think a static was the one that came with the E.F. Johnson. That was the ice cream cone style with the static. But EV, makers of fine microphoniums for professional use. I think you've got another one that works well for high impedance tube radios, and of course this one probably cloned and or made just for that radio.
Oh, there you go, the Electro Voice microphone made for Browning Laboratories. Got the nice little gold screen on there, the little BL, and of course the banana mic, which is kind of more of a hand mic than a desk mic, but it's both.
What do they say? It's two mics in one. You are Radio 3. The Browning, we heard from the Mark IV earlier. This is the radio that was, prior to that, from 1972 to 76. And when the FCC said, you are no longer able to sell a 23-channel transmitter or transceiver, then Browning had to redesign a few things. But classic radio, this is like a great piece of any type of equipment, like the Scott stereos or I don't know. It's just, it looks good just sitting there doing nothing.
Oh, there you go. Lots of tubes, lots of knobs, and even an on-the-air light when you key up.
I wish I could say the same thing about me. That I look good sitting doing nothing. So that's why we try to put up as many radios as possible. Thanks for radio number 3. It's always good to hear that 20 over. In fact, it was 25, I think, when I was hooking to the S meter. So doing a good job.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll be back with another one shortly.
Yeah, I would like to track down that timed interference that happens around here at about 11 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's pretty broadband. I hear it down on 40 meters as well, so that means it's something out beaconing on an antenna or spewing. It is the 21st century version of Spark Gap OTR listening. Speaking of the E.F. Johnson, some featured radios around the web from this week. Here is one of them, and this is from, let's see, whose collection is this? Can I do this without having it go away? Keith Pennington. Johnson Messenger 223, the PAL VFO, and a Black Cat JB12. I don't know about the PAL VFO. There was a PAL and there was a couple of VFOs, and certain ones worked with certain radios, but a very nice setup that anybody back in the early 1970s would definitely want to have for talking around town and doing skip. But anyway, that's a great classic setup from Keith out there, and maybe you've got something like that. OTR standing by. We're listening for radio number 4.
How come it's so quiet?
Well, I know someone said there's a football or a game going on, some type of thing going on, and so you just never know. And people maybe they're drying off from all this rain.
Yeah, I just kind of wondered. Well, I'll get in early tonight. The Golden Beagle by Browning Lavatories, custom D104, R68T68, that's about it. It's the one I use most of the time because it's handy and just like candy, which I shouldn't have.
Well, maybe in moderate amounts, although I think for radios you can overdose on the radios and not have too bad of an effect. We're showing with the EV there. Now there's a good one. We're talking with Ed on his microphone of earlier. If you've got the picture up anywhere, there's the microphone that came with Browning. He talked in the front. It had that push to talk or a slide switch, and it had a bass, and the microphone actually came out of the bass, which made it nice for swinging it around. So Harvey, I think you are probably on a D104 though.
Oh, that's not even close to a ping. Yes, I'm on the unamplified D104. They came with this radio, and it was a very fortunate find, and the guy didn't want too much for it, so I asked my wife if it was okay, and she said yes, so I was able to get it.
All right. She was always good to you. Do you have, or have you ever had the matching? Well, you know what? I'm thinking that matching case that went with this radio probably wasn't for this model, right? It was for the Mark II.
You mean the wooden case? Yes, I believe the wooden case was for the Mark IIs.
Now, in your dealings, are you aware, is the Mark II a little bit different size? And I would think either the transmitter or the receiver, or is it about the same size?
I'd have to do some measuring, but the Mark II is also the smaller receiver, smaller transmitter. I believe based on the tube setup in it, which is similar to this, if not exact, it might be the same size. I think you could probably slide this in the Mark II case.
All right, and there was some comments about that on one of the forums about, well, what do you do with the heating? We're in that nice wood case, and I don't think it was ventilated on top, but the vents are in the back, and somebody says on a Browning, and it might have been S9 radio, says that most of the heat on the Browning is in the rear of the radio with the transformer, some other things, and that's sort of the way they built it, so that you know, as long as you keep the back ventilated and not up against a wall, you should be good for the cooling.
Actually, the wooden case has no back at all. And as far as heating, S9 Radio, Greg, posted something either today, no, I think it was yesterday, might have been today, but probably yesterday, I think, of the inside top of a Mark III, I think, case, showing all the burn marks from the tubes. Now, from my experience in the receiver, the hottest tube is the 6AQ5 audio output. In the transmitter, it would probably be the 6BQ5 and the 7558 and possibly the 12BY7, but the 6BQ5 is a little taller, so it's closer to the top of the case. I can look them up and see bulb temperatures, but I know for a fact that 6AQ5s get blistering hot, and almost every case that I've seen, you look at the top inside and it's got a burn mark.
Yeah, I found that sample from Greg, and there it is. So not unusual. I think you said a lot of it's just from the dust. You know, if you had less dust, you might have less burn mark. But there's the hot spot. If you were, who was saying last week, if you're going to cook something, that's the part of the radio you want to put it on. And the wooden case, which I actually have a picture of, like you said, it doesn't have the vents in the top, but it's got the open back, and that's where you need to have a little bit of ventilation if you don't have it elsewhere. You are radio number 4 with the Browning Golden Eagle, the first of the Brownings to be designated the Golden Eagle. There was the Eagle prior to that, and then this was the first of the Golden Eagle brand, so it is a fun thing.
Hey, Roger. I like this radio. I've got to get into the receiver. There's, I don't know, I just don't like the ping. Yeah, I love the ping on the other one, the Bagel, but this one used to ping real sweet, but I can't get it to do it anymore. And it's not, I have to determine if it's the receiver or transmitter, but I believe it's the receiver, so I'll take a look at it when I can.
Yeah, it's a little harsher. It's not a sweet ping, but it gets your attention. For those watching the video, there is the really nice, almost like a picture framed of the radio, beveled front end Not sure what kind of wood that is. Pecan, oak, maple, not sure. But the two radios fit side by side. It appears that you definitely looks like you have to take them out of their metal case. It's slipped into the wood case. There are no vents on the top, but as Harvey said, the back is completely open. You slide them right in, and they are good to go and looking pretty cool. Radio number 4, the Browning Golden Eagle, or should I say Bagel, over.
Beagle, woof, woof.
Beagle. My E, you know what? My E looked like an A. And I've got one of these blobby gel pens, so I can't write really small, or everything just looks like a blob. All right, we got it, and it is good to go. Thanks for radio number 4, over. Let's see, over to the list of shortwave listeners. We will head over to those playing the home game. You'll be on page 3, and we will say a hearty old tube radio hello to 23 Skidoo, who was done with the comings and goings of a Saturday evening. I think he was meeting with probably Espresso Trucking Company, maybe finding out what they'll be up to in future episodes. But we brought the radio playlist. Yeah, the I Feel the Earth Move. That also, anytime there's something on the Richter scale, we would always find that one. Fire and rain, raindrops keep falling on my head. There's wind and rain. You will have no problem finding hours and hours of songs on the radio talking about rain and wind and inclement weather. We are looking for Radio 5. Say hello to stations joining us up in the balcony: Germantown, Wisconsin; Spokane, Washington; and Boston 97, not spilling the beans, but giving us a little teaser that he's got a R2700A and 23S9 on the way to beacon out there, out through the harbor, to all those old brick buildings. So it should sound good. Should sound good in your neighborhood. And Tony reminds us that the wooden cases look nice, but just make sure they're really not, even though they're nice and shellacked and polished up there, they're not a great place to put your beer on. So, if you see those little rings, that is not the 6AQ5 tube or whatever that tube heating. That's the beer can on the top. Don't do that. Oh, Travis says that's what's going up there. It's Pink Floyd, Pink Floyd night. We are standing by for radio number 5, and the Jingle Singers are. What are they going to do? Yes, the friendly favorite place for your Saturday evening.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Right now they look up in the balcony. I missed a few of you. Hello, Big Rich 6520. Good evening. He was down there helping the Jingle Singers get tuned up. Making sure they are in tune, and they sound pretty good. They do a good job. GWD Labs. Hello, radio. Thanks for joining us tonight here on the Old Tube Radio Network. I think I saw Albert and the gang, Northern Redneck. I didn't say hello to you. Indeed, 386 Tin Man out of Wisconsin. 73 to you. I might have missed you, but he was in listening earlier. And a host of others. OTR standing by for Radio 5 and Indian All check-ins.
60.
Hello, Joe. You are good to go. You are ready for takeoff here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
Thank you much. We're going to give it a shot. Doggone it, I smelled some smoke earlier. It was running around the room here with the fire extinguisher. I didn't know what was going on there. It turns out my power supply, the little fan, I think is going kaput there, but we have a half a dozen of them here, so we can put one in there automatically. Dennis, I'd like to check in my Hustler base from World Radio Labs.
All right, Hustler Radio always sounds good. I have the Hustler photo that everyone likes so much, so if I can click it on the table. Oh, and also, they're letting me know, they say, speaking of radios, where's that one that's supposed to be on behind you? Is it working? Yeah, okay, let me go back just to let people know. Did we make it? Yeah, there it is. The 225, it's off. What happened? Why is looks like the camera's moved over. It's sort of off screen. I don't want to go moving things around, but you can see it there. So all right. Sorry, Joe. I'm babbling here. I'm trying to keep everybody happy, but I should just stop talking, and the radios will do that. Take a transmission.
No problem there, Dennis. Doggone it, we had to do a little fine tuning ourselves. I was probably on the crystal slot, and I had to set it to tune so I could tune you in there. Doggone it, I didn't realize that I had moved it there, I think the last time we talked. But anyway, Dennis, 7 tubes, 8 channels, and some knobs. I got 4 of them on here, and looking at them, they're set up pretty good. I got a slot there for an extra crystal. Over to your right, I have a light tells me I'm operating, and right after that is it's a little bitty, you could call it a meter, but it's pretty small. And looking at the speaker, they're all kind of tiny.
But can produce a big sound. It is front firing, which is a nice thing if you were to run it mobile. WRL, World Radio Labs, major supplier of amateur radio equipment from the 1950s to the 1970s. They also got in, of course, to the 11-meter radio side, located in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and run by Leo Meyerson. Some people know that name. That's a name that is not uncommon to the amateur radio groups. His call sign was W0GFQ. Not sure if the call has been reissued. His family, World Radio Labs, manufactured some of his own products, notably under the Globe and the Galaxy brand names. I don't think the Galaxy is the one that we have today, but some of the other ones. But Globe. We have checked in many a Globe radio. This is, I think, prior to that. I think this is before the Globe radios came out. And so in 1960, the Globe line was sold to Textron. So let's take another transmission, and if somewhere, somehow, Leo Meyerson or anybody that knows Leo is listening, they will appreciate this radio in such great condition, sounding good. Go ahead.
Thank you much, Dennis. Yeah, she's a good-looking little radio. I kid you not. I know I sometimes kind of talk bad about it, but it's all there, including the hardware. It has a carry-in handle to it, and it also has the mic hanger, and so it's ready to go. When you are, it's ready to go. You use it as a base, or if you've got the cord, I guess you can go mobile with it. Because I don't think you'd have this hardware if you couldn't go mobile with it.
Probably not. And I'm thinking that was 7 tubes or 8 tubes. I don't have the full tube complement, and unless it's got a couple of big transistors on the back, which I have a feeling it might not, you might have it with the what is it, the vibrator tube. So when you turn that thing on, it'll warm up, and you have the vibrator tube kind of warming up and going down. I ran my Regency Imperial double sideband radio mobile many times, and it had the vibrator tube in there. It was the first time you turn it on, it scares you to death because you think, oh, I've hooked something up wrong. But it does light up, and eventually the vibration goes down, and it is good to go. Let's see, that doesn't have any chicken head knobs. Of course, 23 Skidoo reminds us of the OTR rule that if you're checking in a radio that does have the chicken head knobs, specifically the Brownings, then you have to do the chicken head dance and at least tell us that you've done it. Radio number 5, the World Radio Labs Hustler. Coincidentally, a Hustler at the microphone. It's sounding good as always. Over.
Thank you much here, Dennis. I appreciate you letting me check this in. Doggone it, we got another one warming up there. Like I say, I had smelled some smoke, so it kind of held me up a little bit. I found the problem. I was sitting next to it, and it sort of put a panic into me there for sure. I thought it was one of the tubers, but it was this whole solid state job I got sitting next to me. Okay, we'll have another one warmed up there, and that's it for this one, the Hustler Bass.
All right, very good. Yeah, I guess there's good smoke and bad smoke. Occasionally I'll open the window in the room here and I'll smell smoke, and it's like, what? But it's, something wafting in from a fireplace. Sometimes you can tell the wood smell. If it smells like barbecue, I don't, open up in Regency and check for steaks. I know that somebody's barbecuing, but you know that that's not the good smoke smell, so hopefully it wasn't anything too bad. You caught it before it got out of hand, and like you said, it was not the tube radio. Thanks for stopping by the Hustler from World Radio Labs. Jingle singers are not smelling smoke, but they might create a little bit with this tune. Back in a few.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Wonderful. Someone did say Fresno. Wonderful Fresno, California, where we are listening for radio number 6. And I'll have to ask Joe what the game was and what was the outcome. And did he like it?
Dennis, that game was horrible. It was horrible there. LA, I can't believe it. Herbert, they were up 27-0. And they let the Jaguars back in to beat them by 1 at the end of the fourth quarter. First game was 49ers. And, well, doggone it, they went home victory-wise. So playoffs are looking good. Tomorrow there's 3 more games, and there'll be 1 more Monday. That'll be Dallas and Brady. Old Patriot Brady playing for the Buccaneers. Okay, Dallas, we're going to get this other one warmed up.
All right, this is the big stuff. This is the precursor, is it not, to the Super Bowl, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there's about, maybe a couple of days left, playoffs. Right now they're playing each other. Kansas City's number 1 seed. They're at the top waiting for somebody to come up there to get this old Super Bowl off, which will probably be played in February, the end of February. Yeah, they're just sitting up there waiting for these guys to finish playing, knocking themselves off, and they're waiting for the winner to come up and meet them and challenge them, and hopefully Kansas City will win it all.
Okay, we will see and we will find out As we know, we have Super Bowl Saturday here on the Old Tube Radio Network, and it's every Saturday, and there's not much competition. Everybody does a good job. Radio number 6 is probably on its way, so I'll be listening. Trying to squelch down the noise here.
Oh, what the heck? Number 7.
Hey, you made the S meter go over into the extra blue. Go ahead.
There we go. Well, yeah, this one does have a little bit of punch to it. It's the Tram TR27E, 23-channel transmit and receive.
From 1963, 64, I believe. The tail fins, maybe except for Cadillac and an occasional Chrysler, were off the cars. But the Tram radio was ready to go in any one of those if you were wanting to do that. Actually, they made the TRC27C version, which I believe was the mobile for this style, but the 27E looks good on the base. Take a transmission.
Thank you. Yep, the base is not small. The 5x7 speaker, the big 3.5 by 3 inch meter, and everything goes into the green when you're speaking. Yep, it goes up to what, like 60 dBs?
Yeah, I always like meters that did that. The one here on this radio goes to 60. A lot of and it's more like a holocraft or shortwave, where a lot of the shortwave radios went up to 60. There is a dBm equivalent, which I don't know how these were calibrated, but yeah, it's like the speedometer. You get a thrill. You get that car that the speedometer says 140, even though the car may only go 95. You think, wow, this is a fast car.
There you go. Well, this meter's a bit stingy, so nobody gets up to 60. I think you'd have to be parked underneath the antenna to do that.
Can do that. There's one station in particular, and you might be able to do it as well if you really want to get the meter here up to 60. Probably not on AM. Probably have to be on sideband, but it will do that. Let's see. I wanted to show if I could find it. Yeah, that part's not working. We've got some Rolodex issues here. Yeah, let me before you go pop up the full screen ad from Tram. Notice they did pop in 1963. They did pop for the color ads. Or maybe this is a copy. Maybe this could have been in color. But they were really good about telling you about the transmitter, the receiver, giving you a service tip, on how to tweak the radio, and giving you all the signal to noise ratios and the cabinet. And we talked about this, the extra durable wrinkle finish, but I think you said that one might have been repainted, or you repainted it, or I'm probably memorizing that wrong.
Yeah, this one has not been repainted and does have the wrinkle finish, but it's a black wrinkle finish, not gray.
But it's a wrinkle finish nonetheless.
Definitely a wrinkle finish, and yeah, there's little chips, little spots in places where you can see it's always been black.
Okay, someone asked how many tubes. My little thing that tells me, my little birdie that tells me that is not flying past my screen, but I would guess it has at least 11, Could have 10. If it's got a rectifier tube, it might even have 12.
I believe it has 12, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that's... It's kind of archaic, but it might be old enough to have the rectifier tube, unless if it hasn't been solid stated out. Sounding good, we're putting it down for radio number 6 from Tram Electronics Incorporated, P.O. Box 187, Department 10A, Winnisquam, New Hampshire. Who did we have from New Hampshire earlier? Winnisquam, New Hampshire, 03289.
Oh, well, there you go. And, of course, the Electro Voice microphonium.
Oh, that's right. You are on the, I always get the number wrong. 637, 638, 632?
638.
All right, EV638. Let's see if I get a picture up on that. And in the meantime, sounding good. All right, there it is. It's probably not going to come up the way I wanted. It never does that. Oh, one is for sale. Chrome bullet shape with stand and cable tested, working. $100 out the door. Oh, well, you got to pay for shipping too.
Wow, that's actually a pretty good price. I usually go for a little more than that.
Yeah, ladies. Well, it says it's marked down, whatever that means. It says it's marked down, like you said, from $200.
Wow, is that on eBay?
Yeah, I think it's eBay. Let me see. There's the side shot of it. I mean, that is a hefty-duty microphonium that one would not want to drop on the floor or their foot over.
No, you definitely don't want to do that. And yes, that's pretty much my microphone.
Yeah, general purpose dynamic microphone, Z-Harp mic with XLR cable 641, the House of Chrome. Now, wait a minute. They're showing $149. And they've got one for $100. So I'm thinking this $100 microphone's got some issues.
Could be.
All right, here's the front of it, where you can see I think you call it bifurcated head. But it's just a cool looking microphone. It's got I don't know if you have like a push to talk button or a slide to talk button on it as well with the stand.
Yes, that stand is, mine looks real darn close to that one. The little button, the little bar in front, you push that in, and that's your push to talk button. And it's got a little rocker switch where you can lock it.
So were you to have one of these on the Browning and you were trying to do, the ping thing, you would have to be very careful that you didn't clobber yourself.
Yeah, you, and if you did, you'd probably leave a mark.
Once you got up off the floor, you'd leave a mark. Tram TR27E Radio 6, sounding good. Thanks for bringing it by on the Old Tube Radio Network.
And thank you.
Sounds like I'm hearing people. Jinger, I'm going to get this right. I'm having speech issues tonight. The Jingle Singers will be back right after this, or I'll be back right after that. Here we go.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
And we're glad that they are right here in Fresno, California, because if they were anywhere else, we probably wouldn't hear them. Listening for radio number 7. Welcome to Lucasville, Ohio, listening in tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network here in Central California. We are live on the air right now at just before 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I believe we are on now doing this. We do this every Saturday night with the help of our tube radio operators and collectors. Lucasville staying up late, 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, where it is a chilly 21 degrees, listening for radio number 7. And I believe that is Joe. Hello, radio.
I think we have this radio warmed up. I had to tune it up twice. Once it reaches its full peak there, you came in awful clear, crystal clear. Dennis, my Johnson, this is the TOO, the blackface Johnson.
Known as the Blackface Johnson. I don't know if I'd love to talk to radio ham guy Larry, because he worked, I think it was the 1980s, but I'd be curious to know if at the Johnson facility they ever called them the blackface or the whiteface, which of course I'm sure they knew that people were calling them that, or if Edgar F. says, no, you cannot call it the blackface, you call it the messenger TWO, because that's what it is. Everybody's sort of like, well, if people want to call it that, we'll call it that too. We just won't call it that on the manual. All right, got a close-up, 10 channels. Now this is a radio, this is a functional radio. There's no S meter. It gets on the air, it sounds good, and it makes you receive the other person coming in sound good as well. What more could you ask, right?
No, doggone it, Dennis. I couldn't ask for more. I know you don't see what a person is doing on the meter end, but just listening to him basically tells you that he's coming in with about 8 or 9 or maybe 10 pounds. Good sounding radio, and yeah, the blackface part of it, I never understood. They also have that chrome face one. And, but this one is the black face, and it is the TOO. And it's 10 tubes, 10 channels. And I also have a little helper alongside of it. I think it makes a little bit of difference. Maybe too much, maybe too little. But they seem to be working together as if they were, blood brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking for the early radios, and this is, Class D 11-meter radio, and it's crystal controlled on the transmit, it's crystal controlled on the receive, and S-meter is also a way on earlier radios to tune somebody in, especially on AM. You could watch that meter, and as you're rocking the VFO trying to find their frequency, you look for the peak. You look for the peak of the carrier, and they might have thought, well, you don't do that. We're crystal controlled. There's no tuning. You don't have to work for the peak. It's already done for you, so we can save a little money. You don't need an S-meter, and there you have it. But, the S-meter was kind of a fun thing. But you are 9 pounds, good modulation at Chestnut and Heron, and as always, the 2 TWO sounds good on channel 11. I'll give you a frequency check when you come back.
Yeah. Yeah, 10-4, good God, it's pretty good crap. Radio here. Doggone it, I didn't realize you were that far down there. Of course, we're just western Dakota. But anyway, yeah, appreciate the radio check there. Let me know what I'm doing there, and hey, we'll try to keep it up. Keep her going the same way we got her now.
Okay, frequency check puts you in the FCC limits, which was 700 cycles. You are approximately 225 cycles low. Not a bad thing. We're listing 3 kilocycles wide, so you've got plenty of room to drift around, and you are legal according to the FCC. Messenger TWO from Edgar F. Johnson and crew. One of the few manufacturers that we we have here that is still, now they're not making 11-meter radios, but they're still out there in some form, unless they've been sold off to somebody out there making other types of radios.
37.
All right, thank you, Joe. Radio 7, sounding good.
Tuning on it. I think she's still warming up a little bit. It's reaching its peak there. And of course, like you say, it doesn't have a meter, and a lot of that was already built into it, I guess, because the stronger stations, of course, hit me strong, and the weaker stations, you can tell they're from a distance. But anyway, I'm appreciating you letting me check this one in, Dennis.
All right. Well, sometimes people could fool you with that S-meter like Harvey does. He's out at a distance, but he'll do this. He'll say, "Hello, OTR. Can you hear me now?" And it'll make you think that he's, an extra 3 S units when in reality he is not. But as long as you can hear the station, you don't need a meter. Thanks. Sounding good. Going to pick up, I think, what might be our radio number 8, which is Mr. Chris. Hello, radio.
And hello, radio, back to you there, Dennis, and you too, Joe, sounding good over this way, Dennis, and Joe, definitely Joe, that tuber's working. Dennis, I would like to check in this old radio here that I have.
You have come to the right spot on a Saturday evening, the old Tube Radio Network. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I would like to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A, a 24-channel tuber that glows in the dark with the handheld, original I believe it is, stock handheld microphone. Over.
Out of the box, on the shelf, and delivered to your door through the old Tube Radio Network, the infamous, or now infamous, nay famous Super MC11A from beautiful downtown Burbank by way of northwest Fresno. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, well, it seems, I'm looking at PEP over here, and I'm doing 24.
And I would not doubt that. So let's see, in the world of 100% modulation, let's call it 25. Let's call it 25 PEP. So that would put you to about 6.5 watts times 4 for your PEP, and it might even be up more than that. So yeah, radio puts out 5 or 6 watts, and there you go.
Oh, I'm looking. All right, dead key. I'll let you know here just a second. About 7.5, almost 8. Dead key.
Okay, and it should be 3 to 4 times that for 100% modulation, give and take the error of meters and things like that. So it's doing a good job from General Radio Telephone in Burbank. I know they did, let me see, they did a few other items other than CB radio. They had some test equipment, but and some business band radios as well. But of course we focus on their base and mobile radios. This being, I think, one of both. I think this will go base and mobile as well. Over.
I've never tried it, but it probably would, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got the DC conversion transistors in the back. There's a very blurry, I thought I would try that, but that's the blurry schematic. So let me go back to the radio, because that's not going to help anybody. In fact, it's making me dizzy looking at that.
You still there?
This is the basic Dennis. Over.
All right, I thought something happened there for a minute. Probably heard a static. Well, I'm looking at the meter on the radio. It shows right here, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4. And this thing here is, let me get my glasses.
All right, yeah, do that. And John says, every time I look up Chestnut and Herndon, he gets John's Incredible Pizza, which I think is on the corner. And that came about because SWL2 Kevin was located near, when we started OTR, near the corner of Chestnut and Herndon. And his his Browning radio, the S meter was stuck on S9. I don't think it was functioning. It was stuck near S9, or it started reading at S9. So any radio check, and back in the day that it was like a radio check a minute. So I guess he just got tired of giving out radio checks and had his standard radio check, which is 9 pounds, good modulation, at Chestnut in Herndon, and it's stuck. It's stuck ever since then. All right, back to radio number 8. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, now as you look down on the bottom scale, from left to right, you have 0, 0. It has a 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8. I'm one space, has the little lines past the 4, 8. And when I'm talking, it goes all the way down to 10, 5, 10.
All right, and that's good. And remember what that does, because that's typically it's showing in the radio is good, the match is good. So if you ever see it significantly off from that, you can guess there's an issue, or probably you would have an antenna issue where there's some RF coming back into the radio and it's messing with the meter.
Well, this has done this here as long as I've had it. Every once in a while it goes past that 510 over.
Yeah, and it could be, the radio is warming up, or you have a slight matching issue with the antenna if it's raining or windy or something like that. But like you said, generally it should be right where it's always at. And the SRF is a good way to kind of get a quick view if something is seriously wrong.
All right, well, I guarantee you it's definitely warm. If I put my hand on top of the radio, it's hot.
And do we show the top on the radio? I don't think, let me back off. Does the radio have a solid case, or are there little louvers up at the top?
Louvers all the way across from one side to the other, and maybe 5 inches down, 6 inches down. There's 3 rows of them.
All right, good old convection cooling. Most of the tube radios had that. I don't think any of them required fans for the 5-watt DC input and or output. And like Greg noticed in the Brownings, if there was something warm, they would design them to put the hot stuff away from things that were not supposed to get hot. Put the transformers and things near the back of the radio where it could be open aired just a little bit. Radio number 8. Chris at the microphonium of his General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Thanks for bringing it by.
Okay, Dennis, you take care, and I'm going to get out of here. I'm watching the show on TV, but I wanted to get in here at least check one in, so you have a good evening, and thank you. We always appreciate you, and Joe, we appreciate you too, you old fart.
You forgot to say over.
Yeah, over.
Oh, okay, Chris.
All right, Joe, talk to you later.
All right.
And doing some counting and mounting here and listening for any and all check-ins on your old Tube Radio Network. And if I didn't mention, I did see Larry, 785 Larry in there earlier. It's Larry on the official check-in. Hopefully, I didn't get a chance to talk to her. Hopefully the basement, the basement is not the best place to be when we're having multiple inches of rain. So hopefully you are not having to buy extra buckets at the hardware store. And hello to Bolt. I don't remember where you are at, if you're here in California or wherever, but thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
Counting and mounting and listening for the final check-ins here.
Hey, Dennis?
This is the basic Dennis over.
The basic Dennis over. Remember that button? Did I get you one of those Browning buttons?
Well, I have, and I'll just see what I did with it. I'm checking my little button pile here. I've got the Browning Eagle Club, but I think that's an old button that I've already had. And I have, oh man, I think you did. I've got the collector's items. These are collector's items. The old Radio Night buttons with the beaconing tower. And I'm thinking, I don't see it. Oops. This thing's still crashing on the ground. Uh-oh. Ooh. No. Bad things happen when you drop your keyboard on the ground. So I don't know. I think I did, but I don't. It's not in my button pile there.
It's a big button.
Yeah, this one I had here is a big button. It's a Browning Eagle Club. Uh-oh. You know what? Oh, there we go. What happened to my something bad happened here. something bad happened here. So I will have to look because I'm remembering it to be different than my other Browning button over.
Okay, I just wanted you to show it because someone was going to look at it, and I'm so dumb I could take a picture of it and send them the picture. Anyway, but I just thought you could put it on there. Alrighty, that was it. No big deal. Thank you.
All right, well, I have a Browning button, but I'm thinking it is not, and I'll put it up here. I'm thinking it is not the one you're talking about. I don't think, I've had this for a long time, I'm pretty sure. But maybe not. It says a member of the Eagle Club. I think yours was something different than that.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to bring up the stream in a second here in the room, and I'll look at it.
Okay, in the meantime, let me sign out. Now, I've changed... when I was looking at the button, the keyboard went crashing down, and it had changed one of the profiles on the system, and I can't figure out why why it did what it did. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I changed something. Maybe I deleted something. Whatever. Well, but it is what it is. And I will figure it out. All right. Any other check-ins before we start here?
Okay, go ahead and put it up so I can see it.
Okay. Let me get back to the other screen. Don't add pictures to radio. It just gets totally confusing. All right, here's the one. Okay, I'm trying not to break that either. It's in very good shape. Here's the one I'm thinking that is not the one you're talking about, but it could be. I could have, as they say, misspoke, but I'm thinking it is different. Over.
That's the one. I'm going to leave the room here. I'm pretty sure that's the one. And I'm going to leave the room and get a box that I have a couple of them in and make absolutely sure. So I'll be back.
All right. And there's a wireless keyboard, so let's see if I can actually do something with it here. Okay, yeah, just check it out there. Oh, you're right, it's not. The keyboard isn't working. Oh, there we go. Now the keyboard is working. Radio S meter, add radio. Okay, now it did pull something off the screen. All right, here we go. Everybody's just looking and says, what is he doing? We're supposed to sign off here. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final OTR totals from your old tube radio network here in Central California. Thanks for the kind words there on the chat. I am but one of the many net controllers that have been in the air chair here for the last, 35, 37 years, and a lot of people that put together the video that you see and keep the databases going and things like that. So a definite group effort along the years here. And as I mentioned before, if it were not for stations that want to come out every Saturday night and participate, I think we would have been like thin air long ago on the Old Tube Radio Network. It's kind of fun to have the, even there's a little more work to do, to have our international and across the states radio operators and SWLs, because they can kind of hear what we're doing here on the West Coast, do something similar. I know a lot of you are, so that's a good thing. And as Cycle 25 improves, hoping to hear from a lot of you when conditions permit. Tonight, 16 check-ins on page 122 on page 3, 16 on page 22 on 2, 16 on 3, and 25 on page 4 for a total of 79 shortwave listeners tonight. And radios. It appears that the Brownings are the most heard manufacturer. We even started off with the very nice sounding Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV from Sean in Sanger. He followed that with his Cobra Cam 88. Doing a good job, as they often do. It's hard to make the Cobras. It's hard to make them sound bad. If it's ready to go and the component parts inside, that was one of those out-of-the-box radios that sounded really nice. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from Mr. Ed for Radio 3. Radio 4 was the Browning Golden Eagle, or shall we say Beagle, the R68 T68. Followed by the World Radio Labs. Thank you, Leo Meyerson and the gang at Globe for the Hustler. Thank you, Joe, or else we would never know there was a Hustler. The Tram TR27E from Mr. Ed, our one tram of the evening. E.F. Johnson Messenger 2. I read 223. I must have wrote that down when I went back to turn on my radio. The Messenger 2 from Joe and Chris, as you heard moments ago on the general Radio Telephone Super MC11A. So 3 Brownings tonight, but always glad to hear any and all radios from wherever. All right, your Old Tube Radio Network should be around next week with your favorite radios, maybe some new ones that we haven't heard before. Assuming that the wind, which I can see blowing in the background coming up for the next storm, doesn't do any bad things to affiliated antennas and or whatever. It's really nice. We have not had any power outages. I have some auxiliary power, but it certainly wouldn't be enough to run the full net. So it's nice. And once the power go out, it's nice to know that at least the power has stayed on. Your Old Tube Radio Network says 73, and thanks for joining us.
Good show, Dennis, and yes, that is the tin. It's got a stand on the back, and you could pin it on your vest if you wanted to. It has a little stand that comes off, so you could stand it up on a table.
You are correct. All right, well, that's why it's out here. I was thinking this is my really old one that I had. Maybe I'm thinking something different. I may be thinking about the coffee cup. I got that cup from Paul, SWL25, and there is the kind of fragile, but it's there, a cardboard stand so that you could display it. If you were wanting to display it on top of the radio, or as Harvey said, you could put it on your seersucker suit lapel, and you would be cool stuff. All right, sorry, Harvey, for causing some confusion there. So, and I hope it got close enough for someone to see. It's nice. It's suitable for framing. And it's big. It's bigger than a silver dollar. Not quite. It's bigger than a pack of cigarettes. No, I don't know. It's not a bigger pack of cigarettes. All right, 73, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network saying good evening, and thanks for listening.
Good night, Dennis. Good show.
Good show, Dennis. And as far as those pins go, I have several of them, so I don't need a whole bunch, if you get my drift. So anyway, I'll see if I can find more, but I've got several, and they're in nice little packages, so they stay as new as can be. Alrighty. Catch you next week.
All right, we will do that. Harvey, a lot of the shortwave listeners watching, saying hello to you. Thanks for what you do, and we will talk to you later on the Old Tube Radio Network.
I appreciate it. Thank you much. Catch you next week.
And I'll find out what happened to my S-meter that's supposed to be right there. It went away, but I know it's still around. Over. And there's the S-meter. I'm going to open the RF gain control. You can hear the noise. It's kind of hard to listen to that all night. So that's why I keep the RF gain dial down. So when you see the S-meter kind of sitting at S5, I'm rolling off the noise. But boy, it sure came in right on time at about 12 minutes after 9 o'clock. But boy, it was nice. The other noise level was nice while it lasted. Looking for the S-meter. Talk to y'all later. Bravo 6.